Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trendy with Kim Allison. My guest today is returning friend to the show, Miss Kiara Trevino. Hi, Kiara.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Kiara, she's known for her signature technique, the Coastal Brunette. And since we last talked, her journey just keeps evolving, y'all. Today, we are going to chat about her experience with Danger Jones in LA and her stepping into the role of educator for the very first time. Are you guys ready to be inspired? I know I am. Kiara, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me back again. I've been looking forward to this for like the last 2 weeks.
Yes, no, thanks for coming back. I appreciate you giving me part of your Monday because, you know, us hairdressers, we are busy girls on Mondays. So I am glad to see your little face on my screen. Well, let's get into it. So since the last time we spoke, the last time you were on the show, how has your journey in hair evolved?
So last time we spoke, last year, I had just moved to a new city. So I was kind of like in building mode, trying to get my new clients in my new city. And since then, everything has just kind of been booming for me. I got my clients. I'm now working with a balayage brand, Danger Jones, which has been super cool. Learning new techniques, taking new clients, you know, just how things
living the dream. So tell us a little bit about Danger Jones. You called it a balayage brand. So it's a brand that has just focused solely on the balayage technique.
So Danger Jones they kind of have two separate avenues. They've got Danger Jones Creative, which is more geared towards the vivid specialists, the vivid stylists, all those fun colors. And now they have Danger Jones Balayage, which is for more of like the lived-in specialists, blondes, brunettes, anything like that. And I've been loving that product. Another thing that I've been doing in between the last time that I've spoken with you is tried this product. I was looking for something with a little bit more opacity, a little bit more pigment than what I had been previously using. And Danger Jones toners have been everything to me.
All right. I love that. I'm going to have to do a deeper dive into Danger Jones. I've heard a buzz about it, but I really don't know much about it. So thank you for that overview.
Yeah.
So for everyone new here who may have missed your last interview, your origin story, which you got to go back and listen to her origin story. It's quite a journey. Loved the interview. But for anyone who's new here, what makes your Coastal Brunette technique so unique? And I'm sure that's one of the reasons why you're getting noticed. You actually created your own brand and technique. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes. So the Coastal Brunette placement that I've come up with is really teaching how to place your highlights and your lowlights in the right spots. So that way your brunette client can leave the salon still feeling brighter, but not quite a blonde. She still wants to remain brunette with pops in all of the right places and depth in the right places. And that is what I teach in that place.
Oh, yeah, that's great because we all have been a victim to overfoiling. And that's part of the reason why, because when you don't put enough foils in, the letdown for your client afterwards is, oh my God, I don't really see any color. I don't see my highlights. So then you overfoil and now you see no depth. So exactly. To find that perfect blend, that perfect ratio of brightness and depth, sounds like that's pretty much what you've created in the Coastal Brunette.
Exactly. Like overfoiling. We've all been there. We've all done that. And this placement has just been like the perfect key to get still deep, nice, rich look that all of our brunettes are longing for.
Yeah. How long did you work on that? Like, how long did it take you before you had your aha, you're like, oh, perfect. Did you write it down right away? Did it take you a few times before you said, hey, wait a minute, this is working?
It's been a years long process. It's a little bit of every single class that I've taken, something that's really like connected with me and something that I've loved. And I pulled a little bit from Hair by Mick, a little bit from Linson Hair, a little from Blonde Chronicles even. And I've kind of just mushed that all into one placement. And now we have the Coastal Brunette.
You know, and that's what education is all about, because you learn a technique, but you definitely have to know when to pivot, how to pivot away from it to make it your own.
Exactly.
Right? Or else you just look like everybody else.
Yes. And that's why education is key. You know, in this industry, trends are always changing. So it's up to the stylist to kind of stay on board and learn what those trends are and evolve and move with the trends instead of kind of, you know, pumping the brakes and just doing what we know. Like, we've all fallen victim to having like 2 or 3 key placements that we go to for everybody. So like, just keeping up with your education is going to set you up down the line for such better success.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. Which is why I jumped into your DM right away when I saw this post, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Because I remember when we spoke last year, you were fairly still just trying to find your footing, really. I think you were just getting, you know, to where you knew who you were as a stylist. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. This year has been like a soul search for myself, if you will.
Yeah. So when I saw that post about your being one of 9 content creators, or I don't know what you call yourself, only 9 stylists. What do you call yourself? We call ourselves hairdressers, Kim. That's what we call ourselves. You were one of only 9 stylists invited to the Danger Jones LA Content Day. So how did that opportunity come about?
Yes. So I only discovered this product back in, I want to say April or May. Once I tried it for the first time, I absolutely loved it. And I tagged the brand and they noticed me. They put me on their story. Casey, who runs the page, she was like, wow, this is so awesome. And that was really motivating, because I'm sure, as you know, like, you can tag a brand and they'll view it and not even say anything. So, you know, getting that recognition felt really good. And I was like, wow, like, I really am vibing with the brand. I'm vibing with the tones. Let's keep using it. So I use it again. Same thing. They noticed me. They reached out. They loved it. So I just decided I'm going to blow them up with every transformation that I have. So I was tagging them, talking to them all the time, just, you know, trying to get noticed. And probably mid-June, I'm actually doing my mom's hair. And I get a DM from the Danger Jones balayage page. And they're like, hey, Kiara, we love and we noticed your work, and we want to invite you to a content day at the Butterfly Loft Salon, who is the owners of the Danger Jones company, own the salon. A lot of people flew in. I'm from San Diego, so I drove, but they put us in a hotel, flew us out. We were there for 2 to 3 days, got to meet the owners at their house. They did like a whole party for us. It was spectacular. It was amazing.
That is insane. What a cool opportunity you had. Now, may I ask, who are the owners?
So the owners are David and Alexis Thurston.
So the owners, you mentioned who they were. Okay. And they're hairdressers, obviously.
Yes, they are both hairdressers.
So I love when a hairdresser creates a product, because hairdressers understand hairdressers. So let me ask you really quick before we get into Content Day. Let me ask you, what were you using previous to that you pivoted away from? Because it's really hard to pry us away from our favorite go-to products. Yeah?
Totally. Yeah.
And somehow Danger Jones, this new product, is it new? Is it fairly new, or has it been around?
You know, Danger Jones Creative has been around a little bit longer. I'm not exactly sure for how long, maybe a few years, but Danger Jones Balayage, I want to say, is fairly new.
Oh, I love that. So they come out with the product. It's really hard to get noticed on the market because there are so many products. Totally. And again, hairstylists, we're so tied to our favorite brand. We don't want to blow up our inventory by having to repurchase every color in your line, right? So what is it about Danger Jones that pulled you away from your favorite brand that you were using previous?
So as many stylists, I had been using Redken Shades EQ for years. And let me tell you, like I could formulate Shades EQ like in my sleep, forwards, backwards. I've been using that line for forever, but I was just feeling like I was lacking that opacity, especially for my brunettes. Brunettes want to feel rich. They don't want their tone to wash out within 3 washes. And that's kind of the complaint that I was getting from my clients, is that it just wasn't lasting. So I had actually tried a few brands until I found Danger Jones. And what I loved about it was, first of all, the processing time is 2 to 10 minutes. It's super quick.
It
is so fast.
That's the toner.
Time. Yes, that is their toner. And it smells better. It doesn't have like a very chemical smell. It smells very floral, which I love. I'm a scents person. But I started noticing as my clients were coming back, their toner and the richness was still there, like 8 weeks later. So
crazy.
It just has a lot more pigment than Redken Shades EQ does. And especially being a brunette specialist myself, like that means everything.
Shades EQ, to your point, it's very translucent, very sheer, right? So, and they say leave it on for 20 minutes. Even if you do, you still get a little fadage. You know, you're going to get that anyway. But yeah, that's great to know. That's great. That's valuable. And being that they're hairdressers, I'm sure that's why they understand. They want something to stick so that when their clients come back, it's not completely gone, right? Yeah. So tell us a little bit.
Something that I forgot to mention.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No,
something that I actually forgot to mention is the owners of this company, they actually used to own Pulp Riot before they sold it. So they sold Pulp Riot, and then that's how they, they opened up Danger Jones after.
That makes so much sense because it almost has that same kind of energy, that same kind of vibe. Yeah, that makes sense. Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. Oh, I got to find them. I got to figure out a way to get them to come on my tiny little show. We'll see.
No, they're so nice. They would probably.
Are they nice?
Yeah.
Oh God, I love that. Okay. I'll name drop you. Jump into their DMs.
Oh, thank you.
So tell us more about Content Day. How was that? How fun was that?
Oh, it was seriously one of the best days, the best day of my career, if I'm being honest. So, get there, 9 a.m. We have like a little powwow. We all stand up, we introduce ourselves, and pretty much 30 minutes later, we get to work. So we were told to come with a model. My model, Natalie, she's the old coworker of mine way back when I was working in another city. And I basically just did my Coastal Brunette technique, my Coastal Brunette placement, and they have their own crew of camera people and just a whole crew of people. And it was like watching that, like a movie being produced. They're like, oh, do you have 5 minutes? Can you come for an interview? Do you have 10 minutes? We're going to come and do some snapshots of you. So it was, about our models and about the transformation. But what was really cool is it was also about the stylist as well. So being interviewed.
Set the stage though for us. So is this a big, beautiful house? Do they have a step and repeat? Is it backdrops? Is it red carpet? Is it food and wine, and what is it? Give us a picture if you can help us visualize.
All of that. So during the content day, there's backdrops, there's really fancy cameras, there's cameramen, there's a whole crew. After that, so we wrap the day at about 4 o'clock, and we have 2 hours to go back to the hotel and get ready for dinner. And we met at their beautiful house, gorgeous house. I felt like a tourist in there taking pictures of everything. They hired a magician to do a show for us. They had catering. They had catering at the content day. They had catering at their house. It was like being treated like royalty for the weekend. Like they did it up for us. They put us in an amazing hotel, which was actually really cool because the other 8 stylists were also staying there. So I got to mingle with a ton of creatives in this industry, people who I never would have imagined that I would be standing side by side with. I was a little intimidated, but everybody was so kind and so nice. It was like a breath of fresh air.
Oh, they're like, you're one of us today.
That's how I felt. I was like, hope I can stay here.
Yeah, exactly. Because trust me, girl, stylists can be bougie. I'm like, boy, I mean, take some humble pie. Yeah. So you go in and you're feeling like almost like a mini celebrity. And so you go in, you have your toolkit with you because in your brain, I'm sure you're nervous and you're like, I have to transform my model in front of these other 8 lucky people, in front of the creators and founders of Danger Jones, the product I'm using. It's like, how much more pressure can I take? Right. So
Yeah.
what happens once you get your model sits down? What happens? Like, are you shaking?
Yeah.
Do you have your game plan? How does it go?
You know what? It's so funny that you say that because I was so nervous. I was a big ball of energy. I was like shaking until I got to work because that muscle memory returns, you know? I'm like, okay, I'm in my element. I'm doing my placement. I'm working. And it's so cool to see all of these other creative people beside me. There was so much talent in that room, Kim. Like everywhere you turn around, 10 out of 10, gorgeous transformation. It was very inspiring.
What an honor. Wow.
Yeah.
And are we talking vibrant colors, blondes? Are we talking more brunettes, only brunettes? Because, you know, when we talk balayage, it's a very warm, it lifts to warm, right? Unless you are some balayage queen who you can get it to a banana peel 9-10. I mean, I know I've had a guest on who does claim that's what she does, you know, camouflage and balayage, Amy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, however, she's, I don't know what kind of magic she has in her hands, but I know it's scary if you're trying to get there, right? So it's a sweet spot for brunettes, I feel, to use balayage because you want to keep those warm undertones. So some of the other content creators, stylists in the room with you, what were they creating with this product, Danger Jones?
So this content day was strictly for the Danger Jones balayage side. So there was no vivids going on. A little bit of everything else though. There was only actually one person who hand painted. It came out gorgeous. It was a brunette, hand painted brunette. And pretty much everybody else just kind of did their own specialty. So there's quite a few blonde specialists. I think I saw a blonde or two. I did my brunette. So it was a little bit of everything and it was awesome.
Oh, perfect. Wow, how fun. So how did it end? So you do your transformation. You're like, voila, look at my gorgeous queen. This gorgeous look I just created. So what happens? Is there a contest or is it just a photo shoot afterwards?
It was basically just a photo shoot. So all of our models got, you know, probably 5-10 minutes with the camera crew, and they were doing content like some video, some photos. And then we also got to take our own content of our models when it wasn't their turn. So I probably spent a good hour taking content of my own model after. And then when she went to the crew, basically I was just there on the sidelines, like in between shots with my little hairspray can and my comb, making sure that everything looked perfect. But it was so cool to be able to see my work getting photographed and videoed by somebody else and being able to kind of see the behind the scenes of what an actual production is like. It was very motivating. I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, 100%. How amazing is that? And so afterwards, are you guys just powwowing and hanging out and giving each other love and props and all of that? Or what's happening after the transformations?
So after the transformations, they wanted a little bit of content of all of the stylists. So it was really cool. They had us like doing like this sexy walk down an alley and they were, you know, taking pictures and recording us for their video. Cause this is all going to get put into a compilation called the Danger Jones Sessions 2, because they've already done the Danger Sessions 1. So the video hasn't come out yet. Hopefully it will soon and I'll be able to send it to you.
Yes.
Yeah. After that, it was really cool. We just went to their house and kind of got to celebrate the day.
I mean, dream come true.
Absolutely. Really,
who gets to do that? Honestly,
it was all of my work for the last 8 years coming, to fruition.
do you hear that, next gen? That work pays off. Just keep your head in it and don't come up for air until you find yourself at content day. Danger Jones. Crazy. That's so cool. I know out of that experience came your first teaching opportunity. So tell me how the Reno class came together.
Yes. So Laura,
definitely. Let's introduce them to Kiara, the educator. Okay.
So while I was there, one of the other girls selected for the Danger Jones sessions too. Her name is Laura. She owns a salon in Reno, Nevada called Main Collective & Co. And she was basically just like, you should come and teach a class in Reno. I would love to have you. And we talked about it for quite a while. And, sometimes those things are fleeting, but it didn't seem that way. And after we got home, she DM'd me and she was like, hey, I'm so serious. I would love to host a class for you. Like, if you want to do it, let's do it. So I was like, you know what? I'm feeling so inspired right now. Let's hit the ground running. So I planned this class October 19th this year. So I'm so excited to teach my Coastal Brunette class. It'll be my very first color class.
I swear I would be in your class if I wasn't going to be out of town. Dang it. Oh. That literally is the week I'm out of town because I just did a color class with Ashley Norman. She came to Phoenix. So that was cool to meet one of my guests and take her class, and it was good. So yeah, I would love to take your class. I'll figure that out because you definitely, I told you last year you were a future educator. So here we are, comes into fruition. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So what makes because we have a lot of techniques that we're seeing, a lot of educators out there, with brightness and depth ratio education. What do you think separates your technique, the Coastal Brunette, from others?
I just don't think that there is a whole lot of brunette education out there at the moment. I think that we're coming off of a time where being blonde was everything. And so that created a whole lot of blonde specialists. Something I hear from new clients all the time is, I tried somebody, but she's a blonde specialist, so I wanted to try a brunette specialist. So I think that is really what sets me apart, is that I've never wanted to be a blonde specialist. I've never been blonde focused. I've been focused on brunettes for the last 8 years of my career. And I think that a lot of knowledge comes from error, which I've had a lot of trial and error. And I really do feel like that's what sets me apart, is because I have a whole lot of experience.
So being an educator is new. In fact, this is going to be your first time. So what are you most excited about, and what makes you the most nervous about this opportunity?
Public speaking has actually never been my favorite thing ever. But I have a passion for education. So it's just one of those things where you have to just do it. But I'm just most excited to teach what I know. I love teaching. I love learning. If I can help somebody, like, I'm not a gatekeeper. I just want to spread my knowledge.
That's the right attitude to have too, because we don't live in an era of gatekeeping. If you're gatekeeping, you're all by yourself right now, because people just move on, right? There's too many people offering information for anyone to think gatekeeping is a good idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. What can stylists expect to learn from your Coastal Brunette class in Reno? Like, what do you think they're going to walk away with after your fabulous lesson?
So something that I do on pretty much every client is, for my brunettes, if we're going lighter, there is also going to be an element of going darker at the same time, because we need that richness. So not only are they going to learn where to place their highlight foils, but everybody in the class is also going to learn where to low light and how to low light. Which I feel like there's not a whole lot of low lighting education. Another thing, formulating for brunettes and how to keep things warm without them being orange or yellow or something like that. Proper tonality, how and when to stop lifting the hair. how to pull foils correctly when they're ready. That's something that's also huge, with brunettes. It's not letting them overlift. I could go on.
You know what? That's such a great point, because overlifting, that is the problem, because then you have to go back and put all the primary colors back in it to get it back down to, a nice tone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which, sometimes I do like to fill my clients, and that might even be something that I teach in the class too, is filling is a brunette specialist's best friend, because you have more control over your final tone. So that is something that you might learn too.
All right. Wow. Packed with flavor. I love it. You guys get excited about this class. I cannot wait. I'm going to figure out a way to get you to Phoenix. Yes, that is my mission. That is my mission. Yes, that would be so fun. We'll talk about that after the show for sure.
Absolutely. I'm down.
Do you see education becoming a bigger part of your career moving forward? As we just spoke, do you see it maybe taking over kind of what you're doing behind the chair, or where are you at with your education or being an educator goals?
Definitely. So my dream aspiration is actually to be a platform artist. I would love that to be end game for me, maybe even teaching what I know, teaching what I do. I love taking clients behind the chair, and that's something that I will always do, but I would love to be more like education focused as I just keep growing in this career.
Yeah, I can see that being 2 months from now. Are you kidding? Platform artist. I see it. It's happened. It's done. I put my stamp. It's done. What's one thing you've learned about yourself while you've built this brand that you've created, Coastal Brunette, and just being a brunette specialist?
Something that I've learned along the way is that I'm not really super into the whole blonde vibe. I've tried several times. I've tried so many times to, maybe take a mix of the two and maybe try to get better at blondes. But traditional blonding is just something that has never really clicked for me. It's not something that I've ever been inspired by after an appointment. After doing brunettes for this long, I'm still so passionate about it. And in the beginning of my career, you don't know which direction you're going to go. It's something that fell in my lap and something that I've learned to love.
Yeah. So you learned that I don't like doing blonde hair. That's kind of what you learned, huh?
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I really think that within this industry, even our clients are really starting to appreciate how much the stylists are niching down. And I think, we've all heard a client say oh, I really appreciate you telling me that that's not your vibe, or I really appreciate you telling me that this isn't something that you can deliver. And then being able to refer them to someone else, because everybody is happier at that point. They're happy because they're getting exactly what they want. And then that also frees up space for someone who's your ideal client to sit in your chair.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, next gen. That is perfect advice right there. So as we wrap up, you, the educator, and your newfound opportunity in Reno coming up, when stylists leave your class, what's the one feeling you want them to walk away with?
I want them to be inspired. And I want them to be inspired in a few ways. I want them to take my placement and use it for themselves. But also, too, I want them to be inspired to show up more on social media. That's something that I'm going to really be stressing a lot in my class, too, as well as it is what it is in this industry now. If you want to be successful, if you want to get your name out there, you have to be okay with showing up and showing your face, not just your clients. You show up as the stylist on social media. And I really hope that they feel inspired to do that at home.
Oh, I know. That's true. Like that, whether you like it or not, that's the game now. You got to do it. Whether you like AI or not, you have to do it. Sorry. I mean, sadly, right?
Want to do it too, not feel like it's something that they're obligated to do. I'd like them to feel inspired to do it and continue to do it.
Yeah, I love that. All right. I know the last time we spoke, you were newly married. How's that going?
Oh, it's been amazing. We have our 1-year anniversary coming up in November, and our honeymoon is coming up too. So couldn't be better.
Oh my God. And how's your horse, Chloe? Or no, your horse's name is Chanel. I was going to say it's a handbag, and I thought of Chloe, but no, it's Chanel. How's Chanel doing?
She's doing so good. Oh, I love her so much. I actually just saw her yesterday. That's still my therapy.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for jumping on with me today. And you know you can't get out of here without a rapid fire, right?
I knew it. I was prepared.
Yeah. My 60-second blowout. You got to do it. You know, quick questions, quick answers. Let's go. Brunette or brunette?
Brunette.
Foliage or balayage?
Foliage.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Fast fashion or quality?
Quality.
Dream vacation?
Something tropical.
If Morgan Freeman calls, do you answer?
Oh, yes.
And I'll talk about that in a minute. Love Island or TikTok scroll?
TikTok scroll.
Last TikTok you laughed at?
Probably a Karen video.
Sneakers or heels?
Sneakers.
Celebrity crush?
Dave Franco.
First thing you do in the morning?
Wash.
What app do you open first?
TikTok.
Beach day or city night?
Beach day.
Perfect. And yes, and I brought up the Morgan Freeman, you guys. If you didn't catch her origin story, okay? She said, I asked her if she could talk to anybody, any celebrities. She said Morgan Freeman, which literally I almost fell out of my chair. So, Kiara, can you explain your your love for Morgan Freeman? Do tell.
Were we talking about the Shawshank Redemption?
No.
No? Okay. Well, the Shawshank Redemption is my favorite movie. He narrates the Shawshank Redemption, but he just has such an iconic voice and so inspirational. Seems like such a down-to-earth human. If he called me, I would absolutely, I almost said hang up. I would absolutely, he'd have a hard time getting me off the phone.
That is so cool. I think he'd love to hear that coming from, you know, just you're Gen Z, right?
I am the last millennial. I'm 1995. So technically I'm
Really?
yes.
All right, go last millennial. I love it. Well, you look like you could be a Gen Z and Alpha. You could be either one of those. Who knows?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on. And gosh, I could probably have you on once a year, huh? We'll see her next year, you guys.
Please do. We could talk about, hopefully, maybe I'll be a platform artist.
You know what? I believe you will be. That is, I'm putting it out there. You already are. How about that?
Oh, thank you, Kim.
Oh, before we go, where can people find you?
Oh, find me on Instagram and TikTok at Color Me Kiara.
Perfect. Easy. And that'll be in the show notes. Okay, bye.
Bye.